That's Decatur CDs, and they also got vinyl here in, of course, Decatur, Georgia. I was just in there buying some stuff, really cool store. So let's see what I picked up. Greetings, y'all. Welcome to another video. Back in 2022, I visited Decatur, Georgia, and I went to Luxury Records there. And after I posted my video about that visit, Maria Wesley, who some of you may be familiar with, she does videos like this about her record collection. She mentioned a store in Decatur that I should check out called Decatur CDs. And flash forward to now, 2024, and I visited Decatur again to go to Decatur CDs. Really cool store. Talked with the owner a bit, really cool dude, and their selection is awesome. Prices are really good. I found a lot of stuff in there and just can't say enough about this place. I really highly recommend you check it out. So let's check out what I got at Decatur CDs. There's the bag. 2019, we get Dressy Bessie and their album Fast, Faster, Disaster. I think this is their most recent record. They're an indie band out of Colorado, kind of jangly pop, alternative kind of sound to them. Really like them. I first discovered them, I think in 2007, maybe something like that. I got one of their songs in like a sampler that I received and really liked it. And they've been around since like 96 or something like that, Colorado based. But I thought they were a brand new band. When I found out they were from the 90s, it surprised me. But I've been picking up a bunch of their records in the last couple of years, and I really enjoy them. I really like everything that I've heard from them so far. So I picked this one up. They had it there. And haven't really gotten a chance to listen to this one yet. I'm sure that I'm gonna enjoy it because they have not failed me yet so far. The one thing I remember about this record when it came out was the title, Fast, Faster, Disaster. I always wondered why they put the fast there, because Faster Disaster just sounds like such a great album title that I don't know, the fast before it just seems like it kind of fumbles up the beauty of those two words together for some reason. But I don't know, maybe I haven't listened to it yet, so maybe there's something in the lyrics or whatever that'll kind of clue me in as to why that title is what it is, or maybe there won't be. 1981, we get Stiff Little Fingers and their album Go For It. Irish punk band, if you're not familiar. I wasn't that familiar. I knew of the band, but I didn't own anything by them until I think it was last year. I picked up like their debut at a shop and really liked it. So when I saw this there at Decatur, I just decided to grab it because this is the only other thing that I own by the band. And inside here, it almost looks like a mental patient wrote these liner notes. There's some pictures on the back here. But yeah, I really like that debut, and this is one out of this bunch here that I have had the chance to listen to, and this one I really am enjoying. Surprisingly, there's a version of this band that, maybe not surprisingly, that's they're still out there touring, you know, so you can still go check them out live. I feel like they came through New York not too long ago, and I was gonna go see them, but then a gig came up and I hit the road as I usually do. But yeah, good pickup. 1980 brings us Robin Lane and the Chartbusters and their live EP called 5 Live. Boston-based band, kind of punk, new wave. I first discovered them from a song, When Things Go Wrong, which might be on here, that was on a DIY compilation that I picked up that was really good. And I liked that compilation so much I started picking up a lot of the albums by the bands on that compilation. And just in the last couple of years, I've been picking up all the Robin Lane stuff. They've got 2 proper albums, and I picked up like a CD set that has like everything by the band on there, including unreleased stuff or whatever. So I saw this there, you know, it was pretty cheap. I think it was maybe $2 or $3, and just you know, it was nothing I really wanted, but thought it'd be kind of cool to pick up, you know. I have all their other stuff on vinyl, so this kind of completes the collection. They're on Warner Brothers. They never really took off. I don't know why. I mean, they had a major label backing them. I hate these plastic inner sleeves that they used to use. But they had a major label backing them, but for whatever reason, Warner Brothers was just never able to break this band. You know, their songs are really catchy, you know, they sound like they could have or should have been hits on top 40 or whatever, but it just never really, never panned out for this band. But really good band. I highly recommend checking out some of their stuff. 1980 brings us the Blasters and their debut album, American Music. I have one other album by the Blasters. I think it's their second album, self-titled. I've got that on vinyl. CD I think is a little expensive, so I picked that one a few years ago on vinyl, and I really like it. They're kind of Southern California, new wave, rockabilly, kind of punk, that scene. Dave Alvin, who's in the band, he played with X for a little while. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Because I really like the other album I have by them, and you know, saw this there and just decided to grab it. Got some nice liner notes in here, which I probably should have read. Eventually I'll read them. I always read these things after I get them, sooner or later. But I'm not super familiar with any of the stuff on this album, although oddly enough, there's two tracks on here, Marie and American Music, which they re-recorded and put on that self-titled album that I have on vinyl, so which is kind of odd. I don't really know what that was all about. But I think this has got a whole bunch of bonus tracks on it as well. But if you're familiar with this, by all means, let me know what tracks you love on it. 2017, we get the XX and their most recent album, I See You. I got this weird artwork. It's like all reflective. I'm sure that's probably blinding, maybe blinding all of you. Cool band, British kind of indie pop, electronic, you know, alternative, dream pop. I don't know, a whole bunch of things you could use to describe them. Here's my receipt from Decatur. Spent a bit in here, but the prices were all really reasonable, I can say for sure. So the XX, I don't own anything by them, but I was familiar with them. I have a few like just songs by them in my collection. I remember when their debut came out, maybe 2010 or something like that, but there was a lot of hype around that album, I remember. And I liked a couple of the songs that I have on it. I don't know why I never picked up that. I think they've only put out 3 records. And like I said, this is their most recent one. And, you know, so it's been a few years. And I think even the album before this, there was like a pretty good gap, 4 or 5 years between the 2 records. But yeah, I don't know any of this stuff on this album, so I'm really looking forward to checking it out. I know this album, it may be their most successful that they released critically and commercially. So yeah, I'm really kind of excited to check this one out. 2007, Go Team and Proof of Youth. I love this band, really good. I'm really curious what they'd be like live. If you've ever seen them live, let me know, because they're just kind of this really upbeat, energetic, kind of indie, maybe a little bit of electronica, maybe a little hip hop, kind of funk, all like every genre, you know, smushed together. And I imagine live they would probably be really fun to go to one of their shows, but I've just not had the luck to catch one of those yet. But this, I think, is their second album, and you know, I have maybe one of their other albums on vinyl. I got all of them on CD, but when I saw this there and the price was really cheap, I decided to pick it up. They're not really something I'm looking for, picking up all their stuff on vinyl, but again, you know, when you're in a store, sometimes it just hits you that way and you grab it, something that you maybe usually wouldn't pick up. But it also has this little flexi disc of this one single, Milk Crisis. But yeah, this is a really good record. Probably my favorite song by this band is on here, Grip Like a Vice. I love that song. I remember when it came out. Chuck D makes an appearance on one of the songs on here. But yeah, really cool band. If you're not familiar with them, the Go Team, check them out. Go check them out. 1965, we get Richard and Mimi Farina with their album Reflections in a Crystal Wind. Can you guess that they're a folk band by that title? So these two are kind of interesting. Mimi is Joan Baez's sister, and the way I discovered them is I used to work at this duplication house years ago, and we used to handle all the catalog for Pete Seeger. Used to have this that had a show back in the 60s or whatever on called Rainbow Quest, and we used to handle those catalog for that. We'd make dupes, people would buy them, we'd make dupes and send them out. And I was making some copies one night of an episode, and they were the guests on the show. You know, he'd play music, talk, and have guests on, and they were there. I'd never heard of them before, but their music really caught my ear, and I really liked it. And I'd never heard of them, so I was like, I wonder what happened to them, you know, and looked up online, and tragically, Richard passed away in a motorcycle accident the same year that they recorded that episode of Pete Seeger's show. And the weirder thing about it is the master tape of that show, at the beginning, they had like in the studio, the guy like holding up the slate with like the day that they were recording it and all this stuff. And if I can remember correctly, it was like a month before he died, which was just so bizarre to find out. But ever since then, I've just kind of been fascinated by them. There's a really good book about them and Bob Dylan and Joan Baez called Positively 4th Street that is worth reading. But you know, he's like one of those guys that he put out a popular novel called Been Down So Long Looks Like Up to Me, which I have and I've tried to read, but it's one of those kind of beat sort of books that it's hard to kind of wrap my brain around it sometimes. I've tried reading it a few times and I always hit a point where I'm like, I'm not getting this. But a lot of people, you know, think had he not passed away, you know, he would have sort of given Bob Dylan a run for his money. People say, you know, I'm not going to say that, but I like their music. You know, it's folk. They've only got maybe 3 records, one of which was released after he passed away. I have a best of CD that I really like. And again, this isn't something that I was looking for, but when I saw it there, and I've never really come across any of their stuff in the stores on vinyl. But, you know, it just, you know, it wasn't too expensive, and I just decided it would be kind of cool to have. This is kind of neat, this advertisement for RCA Stereo 8 cartridge tapes. That's for Alan Rosenberg, our good buddy. Loves those 8 tracks still. Yeah, this is kind of interesting to have, you know, like I said, it's not something I really was looking for, but you know, it's one of those records when you're in the store and suddenly you see something, you're like, oh man, I never even thought of grabbing that, and the price is really good. So you're just like, let me grab it. So yeah, looking forward to listening to this. 2001, we get the Wipers and their box set, punk band from Portland. I've been on the lookout for one of their albums called Youth of America. I think I heard one of the title track, I think, in something, a documentary or something. And I just been on the lookout for this, and that I was looking for it on CD. I think you can get it on vinyl, fairly reasonably priced, but I want it on CD, and the CD's always pretty expensive. And I knew of this set, but it wasn't something I thought I'd pick up. And there it was at Decatur, and I think it just hit me on that moment where it was like, you know what, I'm gonna grab it. It was brand new. I think it was like 25 bucks, which, you know, might sound like a lot, but this is essentially their 3 albums. So you're getting 3 albums for 25 bucks. So if you divide that up, that's a pretty good deal. And it's interesting how they did this, because each CD, it's 3 CDs, each CD is one of those albums. Plus it's got, you know, a bunch of bonus tracks and unreleased stuff, and some live stuff on there. And yeah, so I'm really excited to have this. And this, I've listened to I think 2 of these albums so far, and I really like it. You know, really good stuff. You know, they're a band that I wasn't familiar with until very recently, but you know, I know they you know, had a big impact on a lot of punk bands. You know, especially in the 90s. But this dude, Greg Sage, he was sort of the mastermind behind this, and I think he remastered all these albums and put this set out on his own record label, Xeno Records. Yeah, really was thrilled to pick this up. It's not something, I've seen this online, you know, before, but it's not something I ever thought I'd see in a store. And, you know, at Decatur, they had it like up on their shelf amongst highlighting different things. And when I saw it, I was just like, yeah, I'm grabbing that, man, you know, and I'm glad I did, because it's really awesome. So that's everything I picked up at Decatur. Like I said, it's an awesome shop. Looking forward to the next time I'm passing through town and get to stop in there again. So thanks for tuning in. We shall see you another time. Later on.